Max, Coach Aaron talked about they need some of the left-handed hitters to kind of have that thump and that power in the lineup. Is that somewhere that you think you've improved in the offseason, and how important is that for you to bring that into the regular season?
Yeah, I think I probably, well, I don't know if I've necessarily improved like my pop per se. So I hit the ball pretty hard last year, but I think I've improved my pitch selection, so it allows for me to impact the baseball more than I did in a more consistent basis than I did last year.
You obviously have new guys in the corner outfield spots this year. Just of the group that you guys have, just really dynamic athletes. What have you seen from those guys around you so far?
Yeah, I mean, this year's group is definitely a lot different than last year's in terms of like speed. This is a very fast group. It's very fun to like go out there every day and compete with these guys. I mean, it's definitely a very dynamic group and a lot of guys that are very competitive and very fast. They want to win. They're very good defenders. They're very good players.
When you look at this lineup, obviously you guys are going to have a whole new set 1 through 9. Just you take on a kind of a leadership role, kind of bringing these guys along, some of the new faces that are going to be big contributors this year.
Yeah, I mean, we definitely have a lot of new guys, but like they're for the leadership role, just kind of letting the guys watch us. Some of the returners like me, Lodis, Jax, and just seeing how we go about our day, and that's just kind of contagious. Like the winning culture that we kind of built last year and that FSU has had, it's very contagious, and guys buy into that. So just seeing how we go about our business, guys buy in quick and they get on board for sure.
You performed really well last year, Max. I'm sure you felt comfortable when you got here, but just year two being around Coach Cherry, how much more comfortable do you feel? Like, are you trying to be a guy that these newcomers and transfers can talk to figure out how to get up to speed fast?
Yeah, for sure. I allow pretty much anyone to talk to me, and like being in this the program for the second year with Link, kind of knowing all our different approaches and like it being instilled in you the second year. So I'm definitely a guy that guys can bounce questions off and just really ask anything approach wise or really anything about hitting. I'm here for anyone to help.
I don't know how often you're going up against him, but just Jamie, he just seems to be like a really awesome guy to be around. I mean, what's he like in the locker room and the clubhouse, and what's he going to be like for you guys on the mound this year?
Oh, he's an awesome dude off the field, but he's an even bigger competitor. He's a really cool guy because like when you see him off the field, he's like easy going, one of the most relaxed guys you'll see. But when he's on the mound, he's a competitor. Like he wants to win. He's a killer, you know. You can tell that that dude wants anything. He wants to win more than anything.
In terms of it being your second year, how does that help your comfort in this program and help you build off of what you did last year?
Well, for it being my second year, I kind of know what it's like to go and play here every day, and just what it's like to compete, what the pregame routine. Like I've done everything already, so now it's just building off that, being comfortable with what it's like. Okay, like what our pregame BP, just kind of everything. I know like what our routine is, so just being able to build off that and help others, I think is going to be big this year.
You hit leadoff last year. Just did you like hitting leadoff? Is that something that you would like to continue to do, or would you kind of like to be one of those middle of the order bats as more of a run producer?
I mean, I loved hitting leadoff last year, but I'm not really the stereotypical leadoff hitter. It worked well for last year's team just because of how like dynamic we were. Like, I mean, the lineup was crazy. But this year, I'm definitely going to move down in the lineup, drive in some runs, give our team a chance to win for sure.
When you talk about pitch selection, how much of that do you feel like just gets easier the older you get and the more college pitches that you see on a daily basis?
Yeah, for sure. I think like there's no like true way to work on like pitch selection per se. I mean, like we face the machines and like that's the closest thing to a live arm, but I think for sure just the more at bats you get under your belt and the more pitches you see, you're gonna get better over time with just honing in on the pitches you want to hit early in counts and then even 2 strikes, not expanding and stuff.
Can you tell, as a great player, when you see another guy that's young like Miles or Hunter, can you tell whether or not those guys can perform and produce produce right off the jump?
I mean, like you can tell they stand out from a pure talent perspective more than other players I've ever seen. I think the closest freshman I've ever seen to those two guys was my roommate at Alabama, Colby Shelling. I'd say Miles and Carnes are very similar to them, like how advanced they are at the plate. And like for them, they have a lot more margin for error than a lot of other freshmen just because of how physical they are. Like they impact the baseball more than I've seen any freshman. They impact the ball pretty much as anyone on the team. So they have a lot of good things going for them going forward.
How unique is it playing center field at Hauser, where that right field fence kind of jets into right where you're playing in dead center, and then to your glove side is more so where you got to cover a lot of ground?
Yeah, Hauser's definitely a unique field because, like you said, right field, it's not like there's really no positioning to play. If it's hit over your head at right, it's either a home run or off the fence. But then you have that left center that's the deepest part of the field. So we really work on like communicating a lot with the left fielder and center fielder. So communication's huge, like in the left center gap. And then in right field, it's just big to know like how to play the ball off the wall. Like usually it kicks to the right, so just knowing that gives you a good like balance on knowing what to do.
Any other questions for Max?
Thanks, Max.
Thanks.